Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Welcome to Born to Achieve podcast, the show that inspires and motivates you to unlock your full potential and achieve your goals. With your host, Warren Andrew Pinder. Let's get started on this week's episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.
So we'll have people prepare. I want you to prepare for the disruption. Okay, so what do you think the disruption is going to be? And on my work, in my workbook with the course and the stuff that I teach, it has examples. So I'm looking at it right now, for example. So if it's diet, here's some common disruption that you're going to get. You know, you're not going to be able to eat what you want. You're going to start eating food maybe you don't like. You're fighting the urge to snack, not seeing results soon enough, losing focus, and then justifying. If it's a business venture, I'm just to give you an example. Like, we want you to anticipate and write down what you think the disruption is going to be in your life. And these are just some examples to maybe spur your mind on to think of stuff. Business and finance. Our business, you might, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, fear of what others may think, the fact that whatever it is you're going to embark on, it's different, probably, because most of us have been taught that when it comes to earning an income, if it doesn't fall within the parameters of an hourly wage or a salary with benefits, then it's not real. So we're taught that anything different, which is entrepreneurial, is probably not good. So you're going to face that. The actual aspects of building your business. For me, it was a prospecting, talk to people business. And for someone with an intense fear of rejection and too concerned about what people think, that was like, I mean, that just made no sense. It was talking about a fish out of water. I had to overcome this. So by anticipating the disruption, again, becoming aware of it, they're able to prepare themselves. And right off the bat, they're going to be ahead of the game, ahead of most as they embark their goal, because they're anticipating. They're like, oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I'd have days like this that I don't feel like going. I knew I'd start. I lost 2 pounds. Okay, well, I was kind of expecting. And again, that's part of the 90-day cycle. Right? You want to build your life. Now that you've done these things, now you want to embark and you want to build your life or build this goal with 90-day cycles and understanding how it works. The whole goal of a 90-day cycle is not to change your life. I mean, that'd be great, but realistically, it's just whatever that goal is just to move it forward. So in 90 days, you go, look, this is where I was, this is where I am. I see improvement, right? So as they embark on their goal, understanding the first 30 days is when most people give up, because that's when all the disruption hits, all the uncomfortableness. You've left your comfort zone. All the discomfort is going to hit. Disruption is going to hit. You're going to feel it the most in your first 30 days. And again, you're probably not going to be where you hope to be. The second 30 days, by the end of the next 30 days, so 60 days, now you're starting to see some results usually by that time. And the things that were highly disruptive when you started are starting to become routine now. It's not as disruptive anymore.
Got you.
Now my kids know that every Tuesday and Thursday, when mom gets home, she's leaving to go to her exercise class. Whereas the first month, it's like they're crying and chasing the car down the street because they don't want you to leave. Now they understand what you're going to do. By the end of that 90 days, you will undoubtedly, if you stayed consistent and followed the plan that you're on, you will undoubtedly have seen results at this point.
Yes.
It's probably still not what you hope for, but you're going to have this mentality. If you're doing what you need to do, you're going to have this mentality of, hey, I'm not where I want to be, but man, thankfully, I'm not where I used to be. And after 90 days, you've seen results. It's become more routine. Everything that you struggled to do 90 days ago is now it's a lot easier to do. And you've moved that goal forward. So implementing a 90-day and building your life in 90-day cycles is very, very important. And then from this,
would it be safe to say that you're creating a new comfort zone?
That's exactly where we're going with this. Exactly. That is the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. In fact, I was just going to talk about that. The ultimate goal here is to create new habits, new routines, overcome the disruption, and build a new comfort zone. And that comfort zone is where now you're only comfortable if you're actually doing the things required to achieve and maintain that goal. Now, I will say, back to my story, I started my fitness journey 4 years ago. And at 57 years old, I'm in the best physical shape of my life, other than maybe when I was in my early 20s, right? I mean, I'm never going to be that fit. I am in my 50s. But when I remember, I was about 8 or 9 months into my fitness routine 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I went with some friends to Nashville for the CMA festival. And I was there we were there for like 10 days. And I remember about 4 days into it, I was just kind of grumpy. And I'm like, why am I in kind of a bad mood? What's going on? I realized it's because I've gone 4 or 5 days without any form of exercise. My routine has been broken. And at that moment, I got really, really happy because I knew that it's no longer a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. I knew that now I had built a new comfort zone where now I'm not happy if I'm not ever able to exercise and do what's required. I'm not happy if I go on a streak of vacation where I'm maybe consuming too much alcohol and eating too much junk food. It's like, I know this is bad. I'm uncomfortable doing this. I want to That's the goal, and is building that new comfort zone. And that will happen over time once you build these habits and routines and you see this. And then, so with this point on, now comes the mental aspect of this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as we open the show talking about, it's all mental. It's all mental.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. We'll be right back.
Achieve Man, written by Warren Andrew Pinder and Dominique Bradford. This book passionately focuses on the challenges women have been made to go through and how to overcome them. In some cultures, being a woman disadvantages the girl child. This book carefully exposes the hurdles you might face. This masterpiece is the ultimate self-help guide for women. It reveals your true purpose and identity. Get your copy today. Available from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
There's some exercises that I put people through. Okay. And there's one of them is you need to, as you're setting your goals, you need to remind yourself of what it is that you're leaving behind. Okay. So in other words, I didn't realize I was doing this 35 years ago when I started my business. I didn't realize this, but I didn't quit that business and give up. Not because I was giving up the potential to build a great life for myself. That's not why.
Right.
Because I didn't want to go back and have a boss. I got into that business for one reason. It wasn't for the money. It's because I hated having a boss. That was just me. So knowing what I know now, if I would advise myself 35 years ago, I would have said, the first thing you need to do, Shane, is identify your character traits that are going to keep you from doing what you need to do.
Exactly.
Right? Then I would say, okay, remind yourself, write it down. What are you leaving behind? Why is it that you want to start this business? I would have told you 100% because I hate having a boss and I want to be able to set my own hours and be in control of my time. Had nothing to do with money. I would have told
that's
you.
Important.
Yeah.
That's an important component.
Yeah. Write it down.
Yeah.
Why do you want to lose that weight? Why? Get specific.
Yes.
We need specifics. Why do you want to lose that weight? Well, I'm not comfortable with the clothes I wear. I'm not comfortable. I don't like that I'm winded walking up a flight of stairs. I want to keep up with my kids, my grandkids. I'm not comfortable with the person I see in the mirror. Let's just say we can list a myriad of reasons why we want to achieve a certain goal. Why are we setting that goal in the first place? It's because there's probably an aspect of our life that we're not happy with, which is why we want to achieve this goal. So you've got to remind yourself, and you should write it down. Right. Because you get those days that you don't feel like going, those days that you feel like that you feel it's kind of hopeless. You need to be surrounded by not only your goals that you've written down and the end result of what it's going to be like, but why you doing this in the first place. And then you couple that with what I call negative motivation. And this gets a little bit, not controversial, but this always raises some eyebrows when I'm doing a seminar or I'm speaking or I'm talking to a group of people when I say the word negative. Yeah, because as you guys know, in the self-improvement space that the three of us operate in, we're always taught everything needs to be positive, which it does. But we're always like, think about how great it's going to be, and think about how great today, and be excited about the journey. And then you need all that, obviously. But negative motivation will keep you going more than any of that. Man, when I make my millions, I'm going to live in this kind of a house. That's not going to keep you going as much as negative motivation. So negative motivation is when you start your goal and you're going. I mean, you're in a routine now. It's been 30 days. It's been 90 days. It's been 2 weeks. Like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. I'm totally uncomfortable. I'm in pain. I'm not seeing the results yet, but I'm doing it. Yeah. Look at me. I'm doing it, right?
Keep going. Yeah.
You need to be excited. Then you need to have this thought. If I stop now, if I give up 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road, how am I going to feel when for a split second I have a thought, and the thought goes something like this: if I wouldn't have stopped, where could I be right now? And
Yeah.
we've probably all had those thoughts at some point in our life.
Of
And it's
course.
a
Of course.
chill to the bone. It is one of the most agonizing thoughts because you sit there and go, this is the number one thing that kept me going with my fitness routine 4 years ago. Is I would sit there and I would have days I don't want to do it and have days where I start to justify going, well, come on, I don't look that
Yeah.
bad, right? I'm going, oh my gosh, no. But I would just sit there and go, gosh, I'm a year into this. I'm 6 months, I'm 2 years.
Gotta keep going.
If I stop now and a year down the road, I look in the mirror and I have this thought of, gosh, where would I be? What would I feel like? What would I look like if I wouldn't have stopped? That is an awful feeling. And that feeling right there will keep you going more than the aspects of, man, I can't wait till, I achieve my fitness goals and I'm going to feel so great. And I'm going to look so great. That will not keep you going as much as if I give up. How am I going to feel down the road? No, God, I got to keep going. Right. So between reminding yourself of what you're leaving behind and then the negative motivation that I talk about, I'm telling you, and again, it all comes down to what we opened with here today is just becoming aware of this stuff. I teach people certain mental sayings, if you will, little phrases. I mentioned one earlier. If you're doing what you need to do, you are staying consistent, then you just, don't compete don't compare. Just remind yourself, I'm not where I want to be, but thank goodness I'm not where I used to be. And
exactly.
that's good. And
That's
then
a good saying.
and you have to compare yourself, not compare, I'm sorry, but Warren and Dominique, as well as I do that if any area of your life that you want to improve, any area, if pick an area, spiritual, relational, recreational, financial, fitness, physical, pick an area. You want to know what to do to improve that area? Just look at everyone around you, look at the world and see what they do regarding that area. If you do the opposite, you're going to win, and it's not a put down on people, but here in America, we are the most obese country in the world.
Yeah.
We have the worst food and most people are just flat out of shape. So when you get down and you sit there and you think like, I don't feel like doing it, just remind yourself, what would most people do right now? What would most people do right now feeling the way I feel today? I know what they would do. They wouldn't go to the gym. They won't do it. I'm going to, and that's how I'm going to win. That's how I'm going to be. That's how I'm going to not be like most people. That's how I'm going to separate myself. Now, I'm a natural competitor. So for me, it's like, I'll do it because most won't. That's how I'm going to beat them. You don't need to be like that. You just need to be, it's not a put down on people. I promise you, because none of us are better than anybody else. That's not the point. The point is putting yourself in that mentality of right now, I'm feeling down. I'm not feeling motivated or inspired. I don't feel like doing it. What would most people do right now? They'd stop. They won't do it. Okay, then I'm going to force myself to, because that's how you win, is by doing what most people don't do it.
Doing too.
Right. And then I give them a saying of you can either let life happen to you, or you can make life happen for you.
For you.
There is no in between. You can't get a little bit pregnant. You either are or you aren't, right? You either let life happen to you, which is a victim mentality. And that's what most people do. Most people let life happen to them and they don't even realize they're doing that.
Exactly.
Versus, or you can make the decision to make life happen for you. And you can't even say that without puffing your chest out a little bit when you say it. It's
exactly
empowering. And that's what, again, as you guys know, because you are in this achievement space and you're successful at it. So that having that mentality of I'm going to make this area, I'm going to make this happen for me. So it takes you out of a victim reactive mode and puts you into a winning, achieving, proactive mode.
Proactive.
And that is such a pivotal mindset shift, And so these are just, again, these are some of the areas. I mean,
these areas, right?
Yeah.
These areas are every day we're faced with the decisions that you can implement and use the same strategy with everyday, and everyday decisions. In terms of, do I want to remain where I am today? Is it making sense? I was saying, you gotta make it make sense. If you're trying to achieve those goals. But I like what you said, in that identifying the reason why you do not want to remain the same size that you are today. You have to identify the health reasons, identify,
Remind yourself of what you're leaving behind.
remind yourself of it. That was very important. That was, rather than, feeling sorry for yourself, you have to constantly remind yourself of these, these disadvantages and things that can actually hurt you.
Not 100%. And not only that, but there's a reason you want to achieve whatever goal that you've set.
Right.
There's a reason. It's because something in that area of your life you're not satisfied with. And not only you're not happy with that aspect of that area of your life, but most likely your entire lifestyle, habits, routines, mentality, and ultimately comfort zone have been built around doing what you need to do to have that where it is right now.
Right.
That makes sense. So you want to change it. You want to leave that behind. You're also going to have to leave your comfort zone behind. You're going to have to venture into the unknown, take a chance. You're going to be uncomfortable. Your life is going to get disrupted. Set your goals, but if you remind yourself of it's worth it because I'm not happy, I'm going to leave this behind. I don't want to feel this way or look this way or act this way or have this aspect of my life be this way any longer. And you follow a lot of the things that like we covered today, you'll do it. You'll achieve it.
Oh yeah. Because you have to keep fighting through the goals. I mean, you said 30 days. Understanding that and this allows yourself to really measure the success. It from what you just said, you're able to measure the success of it in one, and whether it's in incremental gains, but that something has changed, a disruption has happened, and something has changed, and I want to move forward, I want to continue. So you have another 30 days, toward the 90 days.
Right.
So so you just keep going, and maybe you hit another disruption in there until next, at 90 days. Wow, it's a totally new me, but totally my circumstance. I'm in a new comfort zone.
Right.
Now for a commercial break.
Achieve Men, written by Warren Andrew Pinder. In this book, you will learn the 7 steps to achieving your dreams and goals. Given the vision to share how the acronym of the word achieve can be used systematically in your day-to-day life. Each of us is given a unique gift from God. Get your copy today. Available in print, ebook, and audiobook from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
I have a client of mine. She started off, she just wanted to lose weight. And then and this happens to our goals. Our goals evolve, right? Very rarely do we just go, oh, I achieved it, I'm done. There's always more to do. Well, she started just by losing weight. As she was losing weight, she made cardio a big part of her routine. And it started with a treadmill and a stair climber. Then she started running. Then she took on her first half marathon.
Wow.
And right now she's training for her first marathon. And she told me the other day, she's like, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I just wanted to get off the couch, eat better, and lose some weight, that 2 years later, I'd be pushing myself to do a marathon. And that is a whole new disruption to her life. So her life,
exactly.
Just said that her life keeps getting disrupted, keeps getting
exactly
taking more of it on.
Give us the most challenging, to motivate our listeners, give us the most challenging circumstance you had to work with using the strategy, helping a person using
like an individual story,
like an individual story that someone overcome, like the worst case scenario, whatever.
Yeah, I have 2. One involved business, and it was a young person in their early 20s who, they just wanted more. They were entrepreneurial. They wanted to do something. He had a job out of high school, and when he he was kind of hanging with a bad crowd, right? These other kids were drinking a lot, doing some drugs. He didn't want to do that. They were his friends, but he wasn't really participating. And when he got started with his business, his friends were teasing him so bad. They were talking behind his back, to his face. His parents were so disappointed that he was going to give up this job. It's kind of my experience too. But like his parents got to a point where they were like almost wanted to kick him out of the house because he quit his job and was doing this venture, and he just wanted to give up, and he felt he should give up. And he's got his dad telling him, who do you think you are? People like us don't make it. And you should be happy. All the things we talked about, you should be happy with your God. His friends are telling him, oh, you're not hanging out well with us so much. You think you're better than us. And they're almost getting angry with him. Right.
Yeah.
So for him, it was really, he was getting beat up a lot. And so it was just really like, okay, you just got to stay focused. You got to, this is a new one, but you got to block that out. You know what you're doing. Like, do your action plan? Is this a worthwhile, legitimate business that can deliver for you? Yes, it is. Okay. So we know it's real. All right. Do you have what it takes to achieve it? Yes, you do. Okay. Do you have a mentor, someone in that business who's willing to teach you, train you with a track record of success? Yes, I do. Okay. Right. So the only thing that's left is for you to not let these distractions knock you off with your parents and your friends. And those are big ones, right?
Correct.
Is not let that discourage you, even though it's constant. But you have to really, really remind yourself where you're going. You got to really, I made him. I said, I don't care if you think doing a vision board is corny or not. You're going to do one.
Do it.
You're doing one. You need to cultivate your goals. Why do you want this? I want this because of this. What do you want? Well, by the time I'm 27, I want to be making $200,000 a year. Okay. What's your life going to be? You've got to surround yourself. And I want to see a picture. I want to see a picture on the dashboard of your car, of the car you're going to be driving, when you make your first $100,000 a year. When you move out of your parents' house, we're just really, he had to keep him very focused on what he's doing to eliminate. And he did it. And guess what? His dad is now like his biggest fan. Now his dad's giving him the whole, I knew you'd make it. And he's like, oh, no, he didn't. Don't say that. Just, it's okay. I go, look, your parents love you and don't want to see you get hurt. It's okay. Your friends, on the other hand, they don't want to see you make it. And that's another big part of the disruption in your life is you learn that almost any goal you set, those that are closest to you oftentimes don't want you to achieve that goal. And it's not because they don't care about you. It's because you achieving reminds them of what they're not and most likely not willing to do. And it makes them uncomfortable, right? Okay. If you're somewhere where, like this kid, he would go to a party and surrounded by people drinking hard alcohol and doing drugs, which he used to kind of participate in. Now he doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't go to these parties anymore because when he first started going to these parties and things are being passed around and he says no, they almost get angry that he won't do it. And the reason they are is because he's a reminder of what they shouldn't be doing, but don't have the self-control to do it. Right.
So it's a mental, at that point, is that his mental paradigm shift or he's just fell in love with a new comfort zone? Is he
I think
how would you describe?
I think it's both. Because his mental was reason why he was starting to achieve and starting to build a new comfort zone. And he knew that this is just not healthy. I just can't do this. And he thought he could still hang out with these friends like he did and be okay. And then the other situation was just she was a lady. She was in her mid 40s. She was heavy, 3 kids, working mom, married, dual income household, 3 young kids, wanted to lose weight, and just over the disruption, her comfort zone was just really, really severe. She had moments where fighting the cravings, she snacked a lot late at night, ice cream, things like that. For her, she cried to me one time because she's like, going to bed hungry might be one of the toughest things I've ever done. She goes, I'm not eating after 7:00. And she goes, I would wake up at midnight and go take a couple bites of ice cream or something like that. She's like, I can't, I've got these cravings. She drank, on her desk at her job, she always had like a 32 ounce of diet soda, always nonstop. So she cut out the soda, replaced it with water, and just had severe headaches. And then going to the gym for her, she felt this, she put the stigma on herself. She goes, I'm going to a gym where people are, how many of them are really fit and they're in their routine, and I'm going and I don't like how I look and I feel so out of place. So me walking her through that, and that's from my own experience, going, look, honestly, people at a gym, the most fit people you see at a gym are the biggest supporters of, say, someone like you who's new at it and is very heavy, and they see you putting in the work. These are the people that like they're going to hold the door open for you. They're going to help you. They love to see that you're going to find that within that environment is going, just like that kid, within that environment that you're in, you're going to find that's where you're going to find your most support. But for her, it was really, really tough. And of course, the finding the way, but she did. She's doing great. It's just awesome watching her go. It really is. I have an affiliate program for my online course. So I'll let people become affiliates and kind of name their own price, and I pay them a percent. And I have a lot of fitness trainers around the country that are affiliates that will encourage their people to do this course. Because if you're a trainer, you've got the problem of finding clients, and then you've got the problem of keeping them. And the reason you don't keep them is because they don't see the end in sight. They're not seeing the results or putting in all the work. So yeah, those would be probably the two glaring examples of people I really had to like get in the trenches with and help them.
So someone out there listening to you right now, right, want to be one of those examples. Want to be, want to be used as an example. So give them your handles and all the information where we can find this, your information online and so forth.
Sure.
Just let the listeners know.
Yeah. My website is a great place to go. It's disruption-factor.com. So disruption with the dash, disruption-factor.com. My Instagram is at Disruption Factor, and also Real Shane Perry. Disruption Factor is more the business. And I'm on LinkedIn, but really I just encourage people to go to my website because they could get all my contact information. I've got some free downloads on there. And I'd love for them to reach out to me. They'll get a response from me. I have a team, but when it comes to people reaching out on the website, social media, I do all that myself. So if they get a response, it will actually be me. And I would love to help anybody. And I would encourage people just to get that mentality and, go achieve. The message I would have for people is, it's not as hard. Whatever goal you want to achieve, I promise you're making a bigger deal out of it in your head than it really is. It's not going to be as hard as you think it is. Okay.
Shane is go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No,
you go ahead. You go ahead. You said second.
Secondly, there's never going to be a good time ever. If we all waited for the perfect time to have kids, there'd be no parents, okay, in the world, right? It just, you got a goal, just do it now. Just go, do it. Take that first step. Go ahead. You were going to say something. Sorry.
No, I'm just loving the fact, like you said, the disruption factor, understanding when you hit that brick. A lot of it's likened to people talking about the brick wall. All right. That you started and you just crashed, but taking that and understanding that you're doing something, that the mere fact that you're feeling that is that you just achieved a pivotal moment in changing your life.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I've gathered from what you've been telling us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yes, do it. Yes. Shane, Mr. Perry, thank you very much for being us and sharing with us this information. As you said, you can do it. You can do it. Understanding and being aware, becoming aware. As I said, that's the first step. Just becoming aware, and in doing so, you take action and move right into it. But you can go. Please go in and online. Go to his website and understand and get the information that you need. It could be extremely helpful and be a life-changing, pivotal moment in your lives. You've been listening to the Born to Achieve Greatness podcast with Mr. Shane Perry.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it. If we're still recording, I would encourage people, if they haven't subscribed to your podcast yet, to do so. I will start listening to a couple of your episodes, and I love it. Your stuff is really good. Yeah, very good. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Yeah, it's like you said, it's about sharing. And I was listening attentively to you sharing what all of us need. All of us need. We have a lot in common. I'm 57, and it's hard. It's hard when you go back, with a bit of physical activity in my background. But you're motivated, like, hey, that is how to attack it. So it's a good strategy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. All right.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I really loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and motivating. Born to Achieve. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Stay focused on your goals, and we'll see you on the next episode of Born to Achieve.
Take advantage of this incredible opportunity. Sign up today and claim your free ebook at www.borntoachievegreatness.com. Follow us on Facebook at Achieve Movement Inc. Get your copy of Exploring Achieveland, A Journey to Realize Your Dreams, Motivational Stories of Kindness, Inspiring Stories for Kids on Amazon and Kindle.